What's up, guys? It's that time of the year again. A few of you might remember this, but this is my fifth year participating in the NFL Legacy Mock Draft with 31 other prospective general managers. Each guy runs one team, and every year we do a 3 day mock draft event. We just completed the entire first round of the draft last night, and today we will be doing rounds 2 and 3, just like the real NFL draft. In my experience, these guys draft much better than any mock draft simulator out there, but there are still ways to find value if you are really smart. With 32 real people, it's always a blast. I want to go ahead and walk you through my process of the first round and my plan heading into day two. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I started off, of course, by drafting Caleb Williams at number 1 overall. No harm, no foul. We all know that pick's going to be made. And then I actually traded down from number 9 way before the draft even started. I knew that in this mock draft with these guys that I had no chance of getting Romo Dunze or Malik Neighbors if I stayed at pick number 9. The Raiders offered me pick number 13, number 77, and number 221 for number 9. Ideally, I wanted a second rounder out of it, but this was a great value to just go down 4 spots. I couldn't pass it up as there was no guarantee anyone else would want to move up. I pulled the trigger. My thought was I wanted to trade back and land a pass rusher or an offensive tackle. After taking Caleb Williams number 1 overall, the draft started out pretty predictable. Jaden Daniels went number 2, Drake May number 3, Marvin Harrison Jr. number 4. Then Malik Neighbors went number 5 to the Chargers, and Romo Dunze went number 6 to the Giants. Just like I expected, I had no chance to get him. But then after that pick, chaos finally started to come into play a bit. The Saints traded up for Joe Alt at number 7, and the Falcons would take Jared Verse at number 8. And then the Raiders, with the first big surprise, taking Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington at pick number 9. The Jets landed Tali Fuaga at 10, and then my nightmare scenario here with the Vikings had JJ McCarthy fall right into their laps at pick number 11, so they didn't have to trade up. They still got their franchise quarterback, and then would end up trading out of the first round with their second pick, getting more draft capital back. The Broncos took cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, and I was back on the clock again at pick number 13. This is where things got really interesting. I had a lot of players on the board here that I really liked. Dallas Turner, Byron Murphy, Johnny Newton, Olu Fashanu, Troy Fontenot, Brian Thomas Jr., and A.D. Mitchell were still on the board. 7 players that I really like that I have high on my draft board. And then there's other guys as well, like Brock Bowers, Liatu Latu, and my guy Jackson Powers Johnson, as well as the potential cornerbacks that could get drafted as well. I decided to field offers to see if anyone was interested in coming up to pick number 13. And I got 3 legit offers for the pick. The Cardinals offered pick number 21 and pick number 71. The Chiefs offered pick number 20 and pick number 64, which is just slightly better than what the Cardinals offered. And then the Commanders offered me an intriguing deal here. They offered both second round picks, number 36, number 40, and then number 139 as well. This one was interesting to me, but moving all the way down to 36 would mean missing out on most of the guys I was comfortable drafting there. The value was almost too good to pass up, though. I was close to pulling the trigger, but I decided to counter the Chiefs deal and ask them to throw in a 5th rounder on top of picks number 20 and 64 to sweeten the deal. They agreed, so I made the move and traded down with the Chiefs to number 20 overall. That allowed me to pick up the last pick of the second round, pick number 64, and an additional 5th rounder. The Chiefs would take Brian Thomas Jr. at pick number 13, a big move up for KC. And then the Eagles traded up for pick number 14 and landed yet another Georgia Bulldog with tight end Brock Bowers. The Colts would take Olu Fashanu at 15, Johnny Newton to the Seahawks at 16, A.D. Mitchell to the Jags at 17. The Bengals would take offensive tackle J.C. Latham, and the Packers would trade up to pick number 19 and grab tackle Troy Fontenot from Washington. This put me in another awesome situation here, setting at pick number 20. I could take either my top ranked edge rusher or my top ranked defensive tackle, as somehow both were still on the board here at pick 20. I was honestly torn. I was hoping one of the defensive tackles would fall this far, but I didn't even imagine that Dallas Turner could still be on the board at pick 20. The 49ers offered me a third rounder to drop all the way to 31, but I declined that and made my decision. Ultimately, I took edge rusher Dallas Turner out of Alabama just because to me he was the biggest value on the board, but I would have been happy with either him or Byron Murphy here. After I made that pick, the Cardinals owner voiced how unhappy he was and said he'd been trying to trade up for Turner for a while now. In retrospect, I could have probably squeezed a pick out of him and moved down one spot and still taken Byron Murphy, but the clock was ticking and they did not reach out while I was on the clock. But this allowed me to leave day one with a pass rusher I would have been happy with at pick number 9. I got him all the way down at pick number 20 and added 4 extra picks by moving down, adding an extra second, third, fifth, and seventh rounder for this weekend. I have pick number 64, the last pick of the second round, pick number 75, pick number 77, pick number 122, pick number 159, and pick number 221. I honestly, in the 5 years I've been doing this legacy mock draft with these guys, have never had a first round go this good. Usually, where the Bears pick at, most of these guys are not interested in trading up. Most guys usually want to trade down. This year, I had way more interest than normal in my picks, and I decided to take advantage of it, setting myself up for the rest of the weekend and adding the flexibility to move up in the draft if an opportunity presents itself. After pick 20, Byron Murphy would go 2 picks later to the Titans. Jackson Powers Johnson went to the Bucks. And the final note here, we are allowed to trade picks from next year, but the problem is picks reset every year to keep things realistic, so nobody really wants to trade for future picks. So trading a second rounder next year isn't really an option, but I now have 8 picks total and 6 picks still going forward after taking Caleb Williams and Dallas Turner. Day 2 is today, starting at noon. Anyone who is interested in seeing the picks, there is a spreadsheet that will be updated live. I will post a link to that in the description below. The second round of the Legacy mock draft has actually already started before I even get this video out, but I don't pick until the end of the second round, so you should be able to follow along if you want to see me make my picks. Darius Robinson was the first pick of the second round to the Carolina Panthers. I have 3 picks coming up on day 2 today. I'll be picking number 64, number 75, and number 77. Maybe I'll be making a trade. This is just a once a year thing. I can't replicate it or redo it. It's just something I do once a year for fun. I don't take it too seriously, but I do take it more seriously than just a regular mock draft. But I want to know from you guys, do you want me to post another video tomorrow updating you on how the rest of the draft went? Let me know in the comments. Remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.